What's going on, all you gamers? Here we are back with some more Outriders, and today I'm going to be going over my co-op build for this fella right here, the Lich pyromancer. A little bit of fun, a little bit different to other builds hopefully, so if you're interested in that then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back, all you guys and girls. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. I'll bring you all the latest and greatest in Xbox gaming, hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay from the latest games such as the Ascent, which is out really soon. But for today, I'm here to show you this build for this fella right here, the Lich pyromancer, and I've finally got the headpiece. This build is going to be a little bit different. I must admit, I have probably put this together a little bit strange, and it's probably different to anyone else's because I think every other build will almost definitely be done. I've found this helmet way after everyone else, so I've tried to make one that's a bit of a variant and fun in co-op. Now what I'm going to do is chuck on a little bit of gameplay. Now remember, this is with two defensive mods on. I'm going to show you which one I would switch out, meaning you will shave an absolute abundance of time off of this if you are going down that route. I was just doing this because I was playing solo and I wanted to see how survivable the build could be. But anyway, that's up next.
Tiago was right about that hum. My teeth are chattering from the vibration. Strange structure.
Outriders, there's a storm coming your way.
There's a well here.
Right, so hopefully from that you could see this is all about crowd control. It is a really nice, easygoing, fun build. It is not gonna and never will be able to hit as hard as the pyromancer. Currently in game, unfortunately, this set just doesn't work in the same manner. Obviously, where the pyromancer does all of the buffs and such, it's going to make its damage through the roof. That's why with this, I've opted for a nice damage build, but more CC based, making it so that you've got a nice bit of crowd control going on, and all of your teammates can benefit from that. Right, so first off, I haven't been able to get the cooldown perfect, so probably shave a few seconds off of this one when you see it, and this one right here I believe will probably be about 170. But all in all, not a bad little build. 170, 167 anomaly over there, 20k health and 63 armour. It seems a little bit low, but honestly I've done a few tests and this seems to be the best all-round build for survivability and just making your way through the game. Like I said, if you're trying this in co-op, swap out one of the mods that I'll tell you in a little while. Now first off, just a nice easy gun to use for CC, the Wicker. And this is because it gives you that status power, meaning you're going to hit a little bit harder with some of your moves, and it gives you ultimate ashen bullets, meaning you've got that CC going on. Like I said, this is a support build. You're going to make sure everything is still, making sure that everyone around you can hit things easily and absolutely decimate them, as well as yourself. Underneath, we've got Fortress. 100% the Lava Lich build always needs Fortress on it. You probably could get away without it, but you're gonna hit like an absolute wet sponge, so make sure you've got Fortress in every slot if you can. Next up, just down here, and we've got Death Shield. I try to run this as much as I can because I chuck Shadow Comet underneath, and it just makes it really nice for the area effect going off. A nice easy gun to use, and just clears content faster because it's got Fortress for that first slot. Just down the bottom here, I tend not to use these in my runs just in case people haven't got it, and that way as well, if people are using this, they'll know they'll shave time off, and that's Moaning Winds. So put this on your handgun, clear your bullets, make sure you swap off, and that way whenever you need to swap to it, you're going to clear a nice area effect going on and clear out the smaller ads. Just over here, and just the toughest thing I've ever had to get in pretty much any game other than kind of World of Warcraft with the 0.6% drop rates, and that's the Lava Lich helmet. This has taken me 3 months to get. It is ridiculous. I've seen a lot of subscribers saying they've had it for a long time, and that's why I thought I'd make a little build on it. Like I said, I tried to make a build that was really strong, but honestly, nothing compares to the Akari set. It really doesn't. You could come a little bit close, but I think you would be swapping off for the Akari set if you were going for that pure damage build. So we've gone for a nice support build, works single player, works a lot better in co-op. So this one right here comes with Ashen Champion. Phaser Beam inflicts Ash on enemies instead of burn. Each enemy hit boosts your anomaly power by 20% for 10 seconds and stacks up to 5 times. Basically, try and make sure that you can hit at least 4 or 5 people, boosting your anomaly power, boosting your damage for whatever comes next. Next up, we've got Ashen Boost. Boost your damage against enemies afflicted with Ash by 20%. Obviously, your Phaser Beam is now Ash, so it's going to benefit from that as long as you're shooting it beforehand, and of course all of your bullets. Everything's going to be ashed a lot of the time. You're going to have that 20% up almost constant. Just down here, and we've got the upper robe of the Lava Lich. I've gone with Frequent Phaser to make sure that you've actually got that up as much as possible. The skills cooldown is by 30% now, meaning you've got it a lot more constant, which is definitely needed because this set is not perfect. The developers will definitely need to tweak this. I think it's very, very underpowered, mainly because the eruption doesn't do as much as it would in the Akari set because of the anomaly power, and the cooldown is just not as good because obviously you've got a lot more cooldown on the Akari set. So for myself, I think this does need a buff, but it is still a really nice change off. If you don't want to be using your heat waves, chuck on this set, you'll have a lot of fun. Just down the bottom, you've got Geiger Blast. Eruption increases the skill's radius by 100%. Great for clearing ads. Really, really nice. It means it's going to have a big area effect going off, and we've made sure we've got 3 of them. You'll clear mobs really, really nicely with that. Just down here, and we've got the lower robe of the Lava Lich. This one obviously comes with... This one I've put on Etna for the tier 3, and that's Eruption. The skill can be activated 1 more time before triggering the cooldown. Like I said, we're going to be going for 3 eruptions in this. It's just fun overall, and it makes it so that you can clear the content nice. Next up, and we've got Size Matters. Phaser Beam increases the beam's radius by 100%. This, I tried it without it. Honestly, you just don't capture enough ads to get the proc of the anomaly power. So try and put this on, and it does work in your favour. Plus, you hit very hard with your Phaser Beam anyway, so you're going to clear stuff a lot faster with this on at 100%. Just down here, and I've found any gloves that's got anomaly, cooldown and status power. Those 3 right there are pretty much key. If you can get them on both of your bottom pieces, that is perfect. I've gone with Pompeii. This gives us another eruption. Like I said, we're going for the 3. It worked out really nice. Next up, something that probably no one ever uses anymore, but I really enjoy it. Emergency Stance. Attain Golem protective effect for 4 seconds whenever your health drops below 30% with a 10-second cooldown. Now, I tried a lot of variations of this build. It's squishy. It's a very squishy build, and the main reason for that is because you haven't got the regen going on. Because we're not going that middle tree, you just haven't got as much regen going on, and you're not using your triple heat waves. I would definitely use a defensive mod for this build. I've picked Emergency Stance. If you want to change it off, or if you want to use 2, you very well can. Just down here, and there's definitely one you can change on this. Anomaly, Healing Received and Status Power. You are going to want Anomaly, Cooldown and Status Power. Now the first one is Volcanic Armor. Phaser Beam reduces incoming anomaly damage by 65% and weapon damage by 65% when the skill is active. This right here is just really good for survivability. Honestly, if you find that you're really good at this and you don't need the survivability, you can swap both of these mods off. The next one is Dying Fire Breath. Whenever your health drops below 30%, burn is inflicted on enemies within a 10-meter radius. I was using this to try and see how it works out with proccing the overheat afterwards. In all honesty, you probably will get away with taking this completely out of your build. I would say put in something, maybe a Captain Hunter to get the 25% extra damage on the elites, because this didn't quite work how I planned and it definitely slowed the runs down. So for myself, I would definitely say swap this one out for some kind of a damage mod and you will definitely clear things faster and not notice too much of a survivability issue. But yeah, clears content, and as you can see in this, I thought it was 2, I've actually got 3 defensive mods on, so you can easily swap out 1 or even 2 to make those runs much faster. But remember, I was going for more of a support build. If you want to get a bit more damage, definitely chuck on Captain Hunter and any other damage mod that you fancy. For the skills, we've gone with Phaser Beam. Obviously this right here hits like an absolute truck and it's our buffer. It's going to make sure that our eruption hits really hard. This right here I was using as a deterrent more than anything, because I found a lot of the times, like I said, this was a very squishy build. So use it so that people can't get you, they can't wipe you out, and it just makes it a lot easier. What you could do as well though, if you want to, swap it onto Master Consumer, and that way you'll be able to consume the ash as well. You've got that mod spare, so use it to your liking. But I was using this more defensive than offensive most times. Next up, and just so fun to use, I wish you could use it more often, but the cooldown is awful, and that is this one here, Eruption. You're going to be using this to clear any of the mobs. Some of the elites will also be able to get taken down by this, and the bosses, what you're going to want to do is make sure you're buffing it via this first, after you've hit them with obviously your weapon to get the extra ash damage, and then chuck it over to here and just triple burst them. You'll really do a lot of significant damage, and it's a nice fun move for clearing kind of elites and the smaller adds. Right, so for the skill tree, like I said, we've gone pretty much bottom path. So just over here, anomaly power. And just down here, we've gone with our cooldown. The main thing about this build, and the main thing about the Lava Light set, the cooldown is not very good. I would have loved to pick up a lot more of these, that's what I tend to go with, but you need these cooldowns. Next up, we've got more anomaly. Just up here, a little bit of anomaly and of course weapon damage, which doesn't really help us much to be perfectly honest, but it does bring us up to here. Wildfire, decrease your skill cooldown by 10%. Now just down here, this is your choice. If you're kind of struggling with your build and you're getting knocked for 6, go with this one. If you want a bit more damage and you're playing in multiplayer, I think you're probably going to chuck on this one up here for the extra damage. Just over here, and we've got to increase your anomaly power by 6%. Just up here, increase damage by 20% against enemies below 30% of health. Again, a little bit more health about yourself, and of course a little bit more armor. If you found yourself really struggling with this build, you could even put on a damage absorber, giving you that extra 50k armor and 10% resist. Honestly, there's a lot you can do with this, a bit of tweaking to your liking, but I found this really nice for survivability. Just down here, and you've got increased weapon damage and anomaly power by 5%. Again, a little bit more anomaly power. This one right here gives you 12% anomaly power when you use explosive skills. You've got all 3 of them on, you might as well say that's going to be up almost permanently. Next up, I always pick this to get yourself 20% resist. It will make you survive a lot more against those big guys, especially the broodmothers and such. Next up, increase your anomaly power by 6%, and just over here, Phoenix Nestling. Like I said, you are squishy depending on how you have your mods. If you've only got 1 that's defensive, definitely put this on. If you've got 2 or 3, you may well not need it, especially if you're playing co-op. I was doing this on a single player run, so I chucked this on just in case. Just over here, increase your resistance piercing by 15%. Increase damage against elites by 10%. Reduce explosive skills cooldown by 15%. And last but definitely not least, increase explosive skills base damage by 30%. you definitely need this. Even with that 40% increase, the eruption just doesn't hit hard enough without this. So make sure you've got this, and it will definitely help you out. And like I said, for a support build, it's quite fun, as you still can nuke quite a few things, but most times you're playing just to make sure that you're shooting stuff, you're targeting everything you hit is stood still or stunned, and it's really fun in a team. Alright, all you gamers, as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care, I'll see you on the next day.